Grade 10, we are going to do activity 7.3 on page 45 of your textbook. I gave you the data files on Google Classroom. So, I'm going to use the new Delphi 10.3 version just for fun. It's the same as Delphi 2010. Right, so it says a trip to town in a taxi costs R8.50 a person. I'm sure that's from long ago. The name of the taxi driver and the number of passengers, and we're going to calculate the income. Everything's going to happen in this button click event, and we will use variables. So the input variables, we'll have a string for the name, and we'll have an integer in this edit box. EDT passengers, EDT name. Those are the two names of the edit boxes. We will get an integer variable. We'll make an integer variable, and we can keep it local because nothing else is happening here. You just get a display straight from there. Very simple program. Local variables. Double click the button. The local meaning is going to happen right here. Now, of course, this is too small, so let me go into options and make the text a bit larger. Tools and options. Sorry about that. Okay, where are we? We are here. And how do you use the interface? Editor. Nope. Display size. There we go. Size. I'll make it 16 and C. Yeah, that's a bit better, hey? Anyway, so we're going to make our variables up top here. Above begin, VAR, sname, colon, string. Then another one called inum for the passengers. And that's an integer data type. Right, so then we must fill our variables. We say sname equals the name of the taxi driver stored in edtname.text, edtname.text, and then the number is going to be from this edit box here, edt passengers. But what if edt passengers is not an integer? So we must val it. Now, val procedure is something new. So you're learning something new. Val procedure has 3 parameters. And as you can see, I'm making up, not inum, I don't want inum here. I want to have another integer, rno. So, this is how val procedure works. You write the word val, and then in brackets you put 3 different things. You have to have, for starters, the string that you want to check. We want to check if this .text property is actually a valid integer before we do anything else, because we don't want the program to bomb out if it's not an integer. So we go and put it in there, and then comma. Then you make up an integer variable there and an integer variable there. Go and declare them quickly so you don't have the red underline. What does it stand for? Well, this integer means that val is going to try and put that string into this integer. And if it can't do it, it's going to return another integer. We call it our code. You can call it anything you want. This third integer, this third parameter, there's 1, 2, 3 separated by commas. And take note how all these 3 are in brackets. So you can just study it, learn it apart. And if our code is not 0, it means that one of the characters, because remember everything on your form is a string, so one of these characters that was typed in there is not an integer. It's not 0 to 9, and our code will return which character number it is. And we'll say if our code is, here's our first if statement ever, if our code is not equal to 0, and it's very simple, it's simple logic. You say if ICO is not equal to naught, then we're going to do two things. And if we're going to do two things, we must use begin and end. Very important. We're going to show a message. Please enter an integer only, something to that effect. And we will exit. Now the show message basically brings up a little window that displays a message. You click OK, and then after that message is displayed, this exit means that this procedure here will end. This whole procedure will end. Oops. Sorry, I clicked the plus sign. Alright. Now, I'm not used to working with this compiler, but anyway, we'll have fun with it. I'll make lots of mistakes, and you can say, ma'am. Anyway, what's going to happen is this button click is where we put all this code, okay? Nowhere else. Only the button click, double click the button, and here I'm putting the code. If what this is doing is making sure that the person types an integer into edtpassengers.text. We don't care about the name. It can be a string, a number, whatever. So we want it to be an integer. Why? Because we have to do multiplication. We have to multiply the number of people by 8 Rand 50. And I'm going to put that into a variable too. And it will be an integer, won't it? No, it won't. I'll tell lies. It can't be an integer. If we multiply by a fraction of a number, we will have a real number. So R, we're going to call it a real number. We're multiplying an integer by a real number. 8 Rand 50 is a real number. So we will have a real number as a result. The cost for that day, basically our income, we make it a real number, and we're going to calculate our income now. Say our income equals, we can now convert this passengers.text to a number. So let's go, I've got our_num there, hey? That's the number of passengers. Our_num equals string to int edtpassengers.text. We're taking the text property, converting it to an integer. We can do that safely because we already checked. We checked over here, didn't we? We checked. And then, oh, don't forget about the semicolon after each line. Then we now can take our_num and multiply it by 8.5. And by the way, you don't say R8. You do not put an R in front there. That's not going to work. It's 8.5. So that's the income. Fine, we got our income. Now we've got to worry about, what if they have 20 days that the person is going to the taxi driver operates 20 days a month. So therefore, we're going to multiply our income by 20, aren't we? We can make another variable for that if you want, R per month. And because our income is a real number, we're multiplying by 20. We have to have another real variable. Our income is real. R per month is real. Times by 20. When you're working with real numbers, you just stick with them. Right, so there we go. And the next part of this activity is quite simple. So we've got our calculations done. Now we're going to do our display. We're now going to display in this one, LBL output name. Okay. LBL output name dot caption will be equal to the previous LBL. We don't want to lose whatever's in LBL output name, do we? So it's LBL output name dot caption, and we're going to add to that the name of the person, which is S name, isn't it? S name. So, but we do need to have a space. S name. We don't want to make it look silly with the name. Is there already a space? No, there isn't a space. So we have to have a space introduced there. So what does that line say? It's basically saying that LBL output name.caption equals the previous LBL output name.caption, join that to join the name to the space and to the previous caption. So the previous caption that exists is going to have a space added to it and its name added to it, and that's going to be the new caption. So now we're going to do the same for the others. We have LBL output pass, LBL, oops, I didn't want to double click on it, LBL day income, LBL month income. Guys, you don't have to worry about it. If you double clicked on it, just leave it and go back to your button click event. It'll go away. If there's no code in there, it'll just disappear. So LB output pass, LBL output pass dot caption equals. Okay, I've got to copy and paste here because it's taking a long time. Plus, now the passengers, number of passengers is 8. Okay, this is just for the day. So we don't know what number of passengers is. Might not be 8, might be 10, might be 5. The number of passengers is stored in inum. You're going to get your variable that you store the number of passengers in. Okay, but inum is an integer, and you know that a label cannot have anything on the form to display stuff in the form. It has to be a string. So I'm going to say int to string and put inum in brackets there and a semicolon. Now we go to the next one. Next one is income for the day. LBL day income. LBL day income dot caption. We're dealing with labels here. Equals the previous LBL day income dot caption. Join that to a space. Then the income is our income. When we calculate it there, that's for the day. But our income is a real number. So we have to convert it from float to string. And not only convert it from float to string, we have to make it formatted to look like money. So this is how you do it. I'm just going to put this on the next line so you can see. It's 3 parameters. No, it's 4. The first is the real number you want to convert. Then how do you want to convert it to make it look like currency? And then the third parameter is then the total number of digits that will be displayed. I always use 8 and then 2 for the cents because you want to round it off to cents. And then you also have, oops, you don't need to close the brackets there because it's a caption property. So there's that one. Okay, now I'm going to copy and paste this because I actually seriously don't want to be typing crazily all the time. Oops. Yeah, that worked. Okay, the next one will not be LBL day income. It's going to be possible. It's LBL month income. Okay, LBL month income. And it's also going to be money. And it's R per month. The R per month must come in here. We've already calculated there, see? And the same thing applies with the formatting float to string F. If you put an F there, then you must have 4 parameters as I described. Okay, so there it is. Run the program and don't worry about that. Jane Doe is a taxi driver. Let's make it 5 per day, calculate income. There it is. Now we haven't done the reset button. That should be easy to do. Reset meaning we want the caption to look like that on the labels. It's going to be a bit tricky, isn't it? And we want these to be cleared, and we're going to set the focus onto the name of the taxi driver. Let's do the easy part first. It's going to be edt name.clear. This is the reset button. Please make sure, check it out over there. And edt name.set focus. We also want to edt passengers.clear. It's passengers. And then we have to take all those things out of the label. Well, basically the only real way to do it is to just go and get the captions of those um, different labels and redisplay them. And I'm going to do the following. I don't want to type so much. I'm copying and pasting, and then I have to delete, obviously. I don't know what'll be quicker, really. Quite honestly, I don't know what's quicker, but this way is fine for me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in inverted commas the captions that were originally there by going into the caption property of each label and just copying and pasting in the reset button. By the way, copying and pasting will help you a lot in your exams and tests so that you can go faster. So remember to use it. Just imagine how to type all of that out. I don't know, maybe it'll be quicker for the typing out. I'm not sure. Anyway, for me it's quicker. I like it this way. Right, so there it is. That's the reset button. And we can check it out. See? Okay. Reset. Done. Right, that's that for now. And I'll see you the next activity soon.